The Ankylosaurus, or is it the Ankylosaurs? The Ankylosaurs? The Ankylosaurus? What is the right way to pronounce this dinosaur? In my video I did on it, I did pronounce it wrong. If you listen closely, I said Ankylosaurs because I was trying to say Ankylosaurs. A lot of people pointed it out, but I noticed something really funny, that out of over 20 people saying I pronounced it wrong, only 2 agreed on the pronunciation. So this made me look it up because clearly there has to be a right way to pronounce it, right? Well, an art professor named Chris Wildrick did a fast survey on this. He had 17 kids' dinosaur books and noticed that many of the names and the pronunciations were actually different, so he made this cool poster. As you can see, Ankylosaurus has 8 different ones out of 17 books. That is as close to half as you can get. So that wasn't going to give me an answer. So I started to look at famous paleontologists and biologists and how they pronounce it. It does appear that many of them are pushing for Ankylo, like Kylo Ren, Saurus. You know what that means if it's Ankylosaurus. But there is a big issue with this. First, think of if there is ever a character that is an Ankylosaurus. His nickname is always Anky, as in Anky or Ankyle. It isn't ever Kylo or Ankai. Second, Ankylo comes from Greek and it means to fuse, so Ankylosaurus just means the fused dino. Well, medicine also has this word in it for a lot of different conditions. Ankylosing spondylitis, which is fusing of the spine and an autoimmune disease. Ankyloglossia, which is a fused tongue, or what we call a tongue tie. Ankylosis, which is a bone fusing together, or a tooth to the jawbone for dental ankylosis, etc. Now, in medicine, it is always Ankyl, which sounds like ankle when you mix it with anything else. I think this is why paleontologists don't really like that name. This is basically their Uranus, what we all know most would pronounce Uranus, but if you said it actually like the Greeks, it would be Uranus. Now, here is the thing with science. To be honest, it doesn't matter what you call it, as long as people know what you are talking about. There has been this push, which I think is from the anti-intellectual movement, that basically when talking about science, you better not mispronounce or say something wrong, or you can't be trusted. So what does this cause? It causes people not to want to actually talk about science, because then they get attacked and worry that they're going to get attacked. Now, you see why I think this is tied to the anti-intellectual movement? Second, it makes scientists insufferable. I did the video on Betelgeuse, which 10 years ago, if you called it Betelgeuse, every astronomer would correct you. Now, some of those same astronomers call it Betelgeuse. Fun thing with that star name, it is actually a bad mistranslation of an Arabic word and completely wrong. Yad al-Jawza means the hand of Jawza, was the Arabic name, but the Ya was mistaken for the Ba and we ended up with Betelgeuse, which there are over 6 ways that people actually pronounce it. So if we keep having to point out and fight over what pronunciation it is, people will feel negatively about science. And let's be honest, unless you speak ancient Roman, ancient Greek, and ancient Arabic, you don't know how the words really were supposed to be said either, because spoiler alert, no one on the planet does. Now, I don't know if anyone has noticed, but I tend to leave little stutters and sometimes a badly said word in all my videos, like I probably said that Arabic word really wrong. And I want people to be okay with making mistakes. It doesn't lower my intelligence. I am still the kid who beat teams from Harvard and MIT and many other schools in an invention competition practically by myself. Me not pronouncing a word perfectly doesn't mean I don't know a cool fact that some experts might not have even heard of in that field. Last note on people pronouncing a word wrong. Do you know what actually causes that? It happens when someone reads a lot, especially higher than all of their peers, and they had no one to actually talk to about the thing they just found, so no one corrected them on how they said it. And isn't it odd that we attack people for being ambitious when they were younger and for actually doing things on their own? So just go out and talk about all the cool facts I have taught you, and if you slip up on a word, remind them there is no authoritative branch that says how things are pronounced in English, because English is a really weird language.